As anyone who has played the Neptunia series will tell you, the graphics in the series have started to feel out of date and very much in need of an update. In comes Cyberdimension, using the Unreal 4 engine to change things up and give us a new polish to what we've become so familiar with. And it is very welcome, although a bit rough around the edges. Upon booting the game, you'll be greeted with a very long loading screen. This does this each time you boot the game, unfortunately, but does give you the time to make a lovely cup of tea while listening to the beautiful music. One benefit of this, though, is that once you're into the game proper, you'll barely notice any loading time between the areas. Cyberdimension follows the adventures of the CPUs Neptune, Noire, Blanc and Vert, and the CPU candidates Nepgear, Uni, Rom and Ram as they begin playing a beta test of the new version of Four Goddesses Online, an MMO referenced frequently in the other Neptunia games. They are given a mission by Bouquet, a navigation pixie of sorts, to protect the world tree Verde and save the world of Alsgard. Only they, the chosen ones, can stop the forces of evil and their leader, the Demon King Jester, from stealing the magic of Verde by collecting the sacred treasures and awakening the four goddesses. You know, pretty normal MMO story type stuff. The actual story is you following the CPUs and CPU candidates as they have fun making their way through the story and come up against several obstacles and villains that have nefarious aims for the game. Beyond this, there's not much depth to the story, and there isn't much new on show. The jokes are just slightly more evolved ones we've seen throughout the series, with the occasional poking fun at the MMO idea. The main villain's motives aren't too deep, and I found myself more invested in the story of the MMO that they were playing, rather than the game I was playing. One thing I would definitely like to see in future is more of the Demon King Jester. He was fantastic. One thing that may actually please a lot of people is, while this is a spin-off, this is set in the main continuity. This becomes evident due to the interactions with Pishi, Plutia, Uzume, stock villain number 4, and someone I don't want to say, as that would be spoilers. Cyberdimension is an action RPG with a familiar Neptunia mechanic. Attempt to reduce an enemy's guard gauge by using intellect-based attacks to bring about a guard break. This will stun it and make it more vulnerable to strength-based attacks for a short amount of time. While you can ignore this mechanic if you wish, and just get its health down, it's probably not for the best. Your party will consist of 4 people chosen by you to traverse the dungeons. Each character has their own class and different playstyles, and I would recommend jumping around until you find a character who works best for you. I myself found that close range combat wasn't for me, so I tried playing as both Nepgear and Uni, as they were range based. After some playing around, I found that Uni was the better for me, as it allowed for better movement than Nepgear, and thus that's who I wanted to play as. The dungeons themselves are where I had the most fun with the gameplay. Enemies had weaknesses to exploit, there were places to climb, enemies that would pop up and kill you if you didn't kill them first, and of course, treasure. Where the gameplay does fall down though, are the bosses. The first half of the game will have you fighting the same bosses over and over with very similar mechanics, with no parts to break to open them up to more damage, and I don't remember a single one having an elemental weakness I had to exploit. This leads to them basically becoming damage sponges. One odd quirk with the other characters in your party that you don't control is that their AI seems to be a bit off. You will often find them running at ledges or running in circles, and some of the tactics you assign to the group could lead to them just standing around during battle and not attacking the target. The game does also offer quite a bit of customization. You'll be able to change the appearance of your characters via items found in the store or out in the dungeons. You can find new weapons and choose to upgrade them via gathered materials, and you can equip different gems that will provide you with different stat boosts or other buffs. You can easily make your character a tank or a glass cannon, or anywhere in between if you so choose. I went for the glass cannon approach by the end and had balanced the other characters in my group around me as such. The game's strengths lie in its presentation, so I wish to get the negatives out the way before I wax lyrical about everything else. While the game is running a new engine, we still have a familiar problem. Reused assets are here once again. Kupo kitties, doggoos, flowers, etc. all make their way into this game, and you will often see the same enemies between dungeons just with a different paint job. Some of the reused assets even feel very out of place with the world setting. Sure, such things will be brought about due to low budgets, but that doesn't mean the problem doesn't exist. Another loss in this game is the sprite animations. While the sprites themselves look fantastic and are highly detailed, gone are the little touches such as the characters breathing, or even their mouths moving. Now, onto the great stuff. I simply have to start with the English voice acting. Sure, we've had a change in Noire's voice, but her replacement does a great job with the character that had almost become synonymous with her previous voice actor, and I quickly adapted to the new voice and really enjoyed the performance. The rest of the cast were fantastic, and each line that came out felt like there were people thoroughly enjoying their work and really getting into their roles. Vert was especially a joy. Every time she came on screen, I smiled due to the anticipation of the voice work that was going to come our way. The new characters in this are equally well voiced, and are one of the reasons I would love for Bouquet and the Demon King Jester to return in future installments. As stated earlier, there are several reused assets in this game, but you can take comfort in the knowledge that there is no virtual forest here. All the dungeons are new. The main character sprites and character models have had new designs that fit the game's setting perfectly. The new backgrounds are beautiful, and I was quick to make several of them my wallpaper of choice on my PC. There's all new music in this game that invokes good memories of RPGs I've played in the past. And, of course, there's new chibi sprites. Cyberdimension feels very much like a game made for the fans, and has made some great leaps in production. If future games in this series are built on what we have here, we could have something special. For any newcomers, however, it would be hard for me to recommend this over the likes of, say, Mega Dimension. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this, and would definitely say that if you are a fan of Neptunia, get this game. You will love it. All in all, this game gets 7 sips of tea, with a bit of cake on the side.